What uniquely qualifies you to be mayor?
Oh, look, I've been here for 37 years. I've had a great lifetime here. I had two fabulous children grow up here who've gone on to do great things in their lives. The district has been very good to my family. In 2016, I decided that it was time to pay back and to give back to the community that's been so good to me. I do have a history of doing things in the community. I do have a history of successful leadership of large organisations, and I've brought this to council. I think I've proven in the last 3 years that I can do a very good job, and I wish to carry on for another 3 years.
So if you are elected, what will your top 3 priorities be?
First up, bringing the visitor levy to fruition, and we're well through that. I hope to be able to make an announcement in the reasonably short term in that regard. Secondly, let's deal with these airport issues for once and for all, and get a position that everybody can live with and move forward. And thirdly, to continue to do something about the infrastructure in our district, which suffers from long periods of underspend over a long period of time.
How would you see the future of our district?
I think that's mapped out in the Vision 2050 document, and that's about the fact that we are, interestingly enough, a community that moved here. We're very passionate about the district, and that's why we moved here. We're not like I was born in Dunedin and never got around to moving away. Because of that, we are interested in our ecology. We're interested in the economy of the district. We're interested in where we live, how we get round. My vision for 2050 is that we're able to enjoy the lifestyles that we currently enjoy. We have a method of transport around the district that doesn't produce carbons, and is almost so good that people come here just to see that as well as the district, but that we have not only protected our environment but actually improved it.
What major mistakes do you think we've made over the past decade?
I think we've allowed the place to be developer-led in terms of development rather than council actually controlling the place. We've had criticisms of SHAs, for example. Well, that enables council to actually set the agenda rather than developers. Unfortunately, that legislation is gone. There's different legislation coming. I think we didn't keep pace with infrastructure development. This growth has not come recently. If I look back to when I arrived in 1982, it's been reasonably consistent. And while we had some wriggle room in the infrastructure that we had to grow to an extent, suddenly this tidal wave has hit us, and we just aren't game ready. So I think we've dropped the ball in that regard.
What makes a good leader? A benevolent dictator or a consensus politician?
Oh, a bit of both, really. Look, when I came in, there was some things that needed to happen, and I was elected to get things done, and I think I have. And sometimes that requires a bit of bloody-mindedness to get things through, and yeah, I've got a bit of that in me. I'm pretty tenacious. However, we've made a lot of progress, and I think the district is a little wary of change, and I think there's probably a bit of a reset coming where we might just take things a little easier and listen to what the community has to say before we push ahead with some of the things we want to push ahead with.
Just tell us a bit more about your personal background and what your role is here. How do you fit into the community?
Oh, look, I come from a pretty ordinary working class background in Invercargill, and moved here at 30 years of age. Owned a number of businesses, prime amongst those was Shot Over Jet. As most people know, I spent 5 years commuting to Christchurch to run the airport up there through the period of the terminal rebuild and the earthquakes. learned a lot about myself during the earthquakes. I learned a lot about people and how to motivate them. I've learnt that leadership comes from setting examples. Never ask somebody to do something you're not prepared to do yourself. But it's about giving people the security of knowing that they matter in the place, that the decisions are made guided by what they want. But look, the other thing I think I'd say about the role is that if you become a mayor or a councillor, your responsibility is to the whole district. It's not just to the particular area you might come from. And sometimes that will mean that you will end up making decisions that may be unpopular in some parts of the district and popular in other parts of the district. And you've got to have the gumption to do that.
You've come under fire from different sectors of the community for being a successful businessman. You've been attacked recently for being the chairman of the Wayfair Real Journeys group. There's Stonewood Homes bubbling away. Do you have a clear conscience that as a businessman you've never crossed the line and done anything that you regret or which was wrong?
Oh, look, you tell me anybody who's lived a life that doesn't have regrets. And, there's a few decisions I've thought afterwards, gee, I wish I'd made a different decision. But look, in overall terms, in respect of the district and the things I'm doing, first up, Wayfair is Real Journeys, same company, just has a different name. And that was declared up front when I took the role in 2016. So there's nothing to see here. I have no other form of income that comes out of the district other than the very reasonable amount I get paid to be mayor and a director's fee from Wayfair. Every other source of income is out of the district. So I don't have any investment in motels or buildings or whatever that causes me to make decisions that aren't for the greater good of the entire district.
Can you talk about Stonewood? Is that fixed yet? Where is that sitting?
Well, yeah, that's really easy. I mean, it was around when I stood in 2016. It's still around. There are no criminal charges here. It's merely some people pursuing me to get a financial settlement out of something they think I have responsibility for. I have a completely different view on the matter and will fight the matter all the way, and it hasn't interfered with my doing the job for the last 3 years, and it won't for the next 3 years.
And what makes you emotional about living in this part of New Zealand?
Oh, look, I live at Lake Hayes. I get up and I go for a run around the lake. Cold, frosty morning, polyprops on, beanie on, gloves on. Halfway around you warm up and you look up at the place, and it really just is magic. Go for a walk in the hills anywhere around here, Upper Clutha, Wakatipu, doesn't matter where. It is just something that's magic about it. I quite honestly believe, seriously, we live in the best part of the world. If I was coming here from outer space and somebody said, where do you want to go, anywhere in the world, I would pick right here.